Ready, Phantom?
Ready, Keg.
Let's go! Oh, hey, it's time for the TBBAP show. Everybody watch, come on, let's go. TBBAP! Welcome to this week's episode of TBBAP.
I'm Phantom Horn.
I'm Keg Standard.
And today we have special guest.
Say it.
What?
Say your names. Jess, the Horseman Boy.
I thought you were going to
Fuck
say
you,
it.
Jesse.
And
Fuck you, Jesse.
and Gibbontake
Play
is
More
here
like
again.
ball.
wait, more
You-
like big fag. That's my joke.
Gibbon's here.
He is
I'm
more like
outta
Big
here.
Fag. He's out of the building.
Bye,
yeah.
Gibbon.
Speak of Big Fags, it was about Brotherhooves Social.
Speaking of big fags. Shut up.
Big Mac
Shut up
episode.
about these
Now,
transgender-
okay, let me give a little bit of context. It was a Big Mac episode. I've been waiting a long time, and a Big Mac episode has been my most desired episode besides a Silver Spoon episode and besides a Pinkie Pie family episode. And this was it. So guys, did it live up to the hype? Was it everything you wanted?
It surpassed my non-existent hype and became the greatest episode in the history of serialized children's entertainment.
It was the
10 out
worst
of
thing
10.
I've ever seen. 0 out of 0.
I actually really liked it, so fuck all you.
You really liked it? I thought it was
yeah.
Go on.
What did you think?
wait,
I really liked it. What did you think?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I always take
Phantom
notes.
Horn, liked Brotherhood Social.
I
Put
always
me
take
on the
notes.
record.
I always take notes, and this episode I have by far the least amount of notes that I've ever taken. Ever.
Oh, dude.
I've got like 5 lines of things.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
And it's because I knew everything that was going to happen this episode from the second, to be honest, halfway through the episode, that's when I knew everything that was going to happen. And it was really fucking boring, and it was stupid.
Well,
I didn't like it.
There was like we were all watching it together,
Yeah.
and there was a specific moment where he first showed up. Like, we were like, where is this going? I can't wait to see what happens. And when he first showed up in the drag, there was like a collective, like, oh.
Yeah, there was.
There was. A great exhaling.
I was like, what could have been a great episode is going to be horrible. But it was weird because early on, Granny Smith comes right in and says, we have a very loose definition of what constitutes
I know,
a
right
sister.
then.
So the obvious thing is like, oh, well, she's like, as long as you share a bond, you can compete. So a reasonable mind would be like, oh, well, I'm her brother, so we can compete.
But to be fair,
he does this dumb nonsense.
To be fair, his
put
misunderstanding of what you can and can't do in the competition and of like how to do it was kind of the point, because he does sort of fuck it all up.
Well, it is established that Big Mac will take any opportunity to dress in drag.
Yes, he is a confirmed faggo. I mean tranny. Yes,
There is okay. Over the course
Same
of the
thing
episode,
to me. Just kidding.
The politically correct word is poofter.
Yeah.
there's two like competing aspects to the whole Crossdressing thing. On the one hand, verbally, they tell us several times that the reason he's doing this all is because he wants to win.
Yes.
And he wants to impress Applebloom. And yet, there is an undeniable like enthusiasm behind his performance of Sweet Applebuck Orchards or whatever her name is. Like, listening to him talk, he's like really getting into character.
Yes.
His enthusiasm for cross-dressing really was palpable.
Well, there's a simple explanation.
I don't think you can ignore that aspect of it.
That's true, and there's a simple explanation for that. All men are faggots.
Right.
That's what I learned from this episode.
can't
All
deny
men
that.
just
That's
want
true.
to be
That
women.
is definitely
we are lacking. We are lacking. We want to be them.
When Big Mac shows up in the dress and he tells the Cutie Mark Crusaders, "I'm Orchard season," and they're like, "No, you're not."
Orchard Blossom.
And they're like, "No, you're not."
I believe her name was Big Caitlin.
and they're like, and he's like, "Yes, I am." And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Whatever. Please continue." And he's like, "Oh, I mean, there's on the one. I mean, they don't. I feel like they just didn't want to like. They didn't want to like put a fly in his ointment or pop his bubble or. They wanted, like, he was clearly enjoying himself.
Well,
so they're like, okay, just have, because they wouldn't have been disqualified. They wouldn't have disqualified them to point out the ruse.
What
but
I think
they
fucked up with is that they wanted to tell the whole thing about Big Mac, like, being a trans person, I don't know.
Tranny.
No, a crossdresser.
Oh,
Crossdresser,
sorry.
whatever
Yeah,
it
right.
is, you know.
Well, if you identify as female,
yeah,
whatever.
but they wanted to
Go
do
on.
something like that, but they also had this thing with the Sisterhood social, which is like just Big Mac not really getting along with his youngest sister as much as Applejack does, and that they have nothing to do with each other.
And
I
that's
feel like
the big thing.
If they
it was like
concentrated
2
on one or
episodes
the
at
other, it
once.
would have been okay.
I see.
They've
Because
ruined
the
it
way
by mixing them.
because Big Mac acted like he's such a fuckhead and like fucked everything up and like made Apple Bloom mad at him. It really did not reinforce the idea of them like bonding, which was the conceit of the whole episode.
The excuse of wanting to win the competition does kind of undercut the whole like everyone's just letting him do his thing.
Yeah.
Like tone that the episode would have had otherwise.
Yes. The competition was undeniably like trans positive or whatever. It was all like, whatever you want to be, man, come on in.
They were like, on the one hand, everyone would have been willing to accept a male sister in the Sisterhood social.
Yeah.
On the other hand, everyone's also totally willing to accept Big Mac dressing up in a dress and a wig.
Yeah.
I think they were a little bit.
Both of those things are just fine with everyone.
They were a little bit too accepting, to be honest, because I mean,
agree. The man has a clear physical advantage.
Exactly.
He is the strongest person in the fucking world.
I mean, I was very much rooting for Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo the whole episode. And you look at fucking Big Mac over here, he's clearly cheating. He's knocking over shit. He's blasting through the fucking haystacks. Right. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Well, I would say that was bad, except that he then gets disqualified for that exact reason.
That is true. But they shouldn't have let him compete in the first place. Equestria is so wrapped up in these namby-pamby ideals of equality that they can't fucking see the forest for the trees, and they get themselves into this shit.
But by his shameful display, Big Mac has set trans pony rights back at least 1,000 years.
The moral of the episode, everyone learned that fucking...
They'll never accept another crossdresser
They all
in the
learned how
Apple
wrong and
thing.
sick it is.
Well, that they're all fucked in the head.
Thanks, Big Mac.
Rainbow Dash is like, oh well, you're a stallion. Okay, by the end of it, she's laying like crumpled and broken
Fuck
up.
trans people, man.
She was on the finish line, all like beaten up and bruised, and she's like, oh god damn that fucking boofter.
That's the tagline for the episode. So I mean, I really. Now in the end, they've got that whole really nice scene where Big Mac like comes out with some good stuff about feeling super insecure to AJ, how he just feels like he's just hanging out on the farm all the time, nobody appreciates him, and how he doesn't feel comfortable like expressing his feelings. Those are like real, I mean, sort of like male issues that are actually interesting that I wish the episode had been about.
It was. I could definitely relate to the shit he was saying.
Totally.
And then, all right. When Apple Bloom responds, she's like, she doesn't say, "Oh, I forgot that you're great," because Applejack. She says like, I do think you're a hero. I just haven't been expressing it. Which I was like, really when you like.
That was a lie.
No, I thought it was okay. Those things can go unsaid a lot of the time.
I didn't feel like. I felt like there was an element of truth, but I didn't feel like it was a complete lie. But at the same time, I sort of felt like she was playing it up, like to make him feel better.
Well, I'm sure she was.
I felt like maybe he knew that and was like, "Oh, well, okay, fine. I don't know. Maybe I just read too much into it."
I was really hoping that like it would end on like a line where like Apple Bloom goes, "Well, that sure was crazy to dress up like a girl," and like Big Mac would just look off in the distance and be like, "Yeah, I guess a stallion would have to be crazy to want to be a woman."
No, instead we get that fantastic callback to the Orchard Blossom character. Wasn't that a great way to end the episode?
I kind of liked it.
I didn't like it.
No.
It encouraged.
It ruined the only good bit.
I enjoyed
Right
the
at the
episode
end.
because I spent the entire episode like imagining in my head ways that it could go more awry and end with a bloodbath involving Big Mac losing his mind, which it started to look like it was going to for a while.
Yeah.
Like when he was like kind of arguing with Apple Bloom and his voice was slipping a bit, and I wish they had gone further with that. Like I was kind of hoping for like, well,
like a demon
goddamn it,
voice.
Apple Bloom, you piece of shit! I'll fucking kill you.
There should have been more blood. That's
all right.
Sure.
The thing at the end where she's like, "What would Miss Piggy say about the sunset?" And he says it in her voice.
What would Miss Piggy
all right.
say?
to me, because throughout the episode, I was feeling like, wow, he's really enjoying this playing a character. He's really enjoying being whatever. Then, like, he does it again. Maybe there's something there about, like, Big Mac doesn't feel capable of expressing himself, but then when he's playing the character of the Orchard Man, he becomes able to express him.
That is nice.
They never actually say it, but it's really clear that, like, when he's Big Mac, he just says yup and nope 99% of the time, but when he's the girl, he fucking never shuts up.
Okay, but that's a little deflated by the fact that he just did a rant as Big Mac and said all those
I actually wonder
things.
if, like, they wanted to initially do, like, a whole thing about the cross-dressing stuff with Big Mac, but they couldn't, they couldn't get it greenlit by somebody, and they had to, like, sort of weave it subtly into another episode, and that's why all that stuff happened.
I could definitely believe that.
I don't know if
because that is what it feels like. This is a cross-dressing episode, but with kind of another layer added on top of it that takes the focus away.
I don't know if they specifically set out
way.
to go, let's do an episode about, like, cross-dressing or, like, trannies or whatever the fuck.
Well, if it was about to be about Big Mac and his, like, insecurities,
I think it's more likely that they just wanted, like, an element of comedy to it, so they picked the cross-dressing thing because it's been established. But
I don't know. I mean, when he first showed up in the dress, it was like, oh, well, now I see. He's going to be bumbling around, tripping over his high heels. It's going to be a big, like, oh, he doesn't know how to act like a woman. Like, a ruse, and it's going to be, oh, will they discover it?
Which is what it was.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't, oh, he's got to maintain the ruse, because everyone already knew, and there really was no... He was really, after a certain point, he was only doing it for himself.
I guess that's true.
I mean, yeah, he didn't realize that... I guess he didn't realize that everyone already knew, and so in a sense, to him, he was maintaining the facade, but I mean, the will they discover it, won't they discover it, was never really a part of the episode.
Even if that's true, the bumbling was still there in full force.
The bumbling was there, and it was dumb, but I don't know.
I liked that everyone was really accepting of it, except Sweetie Belle.
Yeah. The least transpositive in the whole bunch. Fuck that bitch.
Well, I'd be annoyed if I were her too, because she points at, like, you're Big Mac in a dress, and she's like, no, and she's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Like, he just lied right to her face.
And also, Sweetie Belle was not in the competition because Rarity was also away, so she must be extra double pissed. Because here's Apple Bloom, who also should be not in the competition, but she's skating by because she's got this phony tranny brother.
Yep.
I'd be mad too.
Yeah, she has every right to fucking...
This should have been a Sweetie Belle episode. It should have been about her struggle.
It should have been about
the struggle of a person dealing with...
Okay, idea. Last episode was AJ has to go and miss the Sisterhood Social.
Yes.
This episode is Big Mac taking AJ's place in the season. Next episode is Sweetie Bloom, like, lamenting her jealousy that she doesn't have a cross-dressing brother to be in the
building up that
Social.
genocidal rage deep down, waiting for it to explode.
Oh, shit.
She tries to pressure Rarity into cross-dressing the other way.
Because there's a brother thing. No, they don't celebrate men in the question.
They definitely don't.
Yeah, she's seeing Big Mac fucking dress up as a girl made me appreciate brothers, Rarity. Build me a brother out of cloth.
And she'll
Make
do
me
it
the
too,
golem.
because she's so generous.
Yeah, she'll have no choice. That's your thing, Rarity.
Thank you, Rarity.
They'll do the obligatory disheveled Rarity with the glasses scene where she's building a fucking robot for Sweetie.
Yeah. A dress robot. Awesome. So, okay, that's true. I liked this element of like Big Mac being able to sort of express himself more as the girl character. That's cool. But at the end of the day, like, the comic, right? The Big Mac comic back in the day. What was it called, Ben?
Zen and the Art of Gazebo.
Zen and the Art of Gazebo
also,
Repair is the greatest
not my name
fucking
on
comic.
this show.
Oh yeah,
Keg.
Phantom Horn, right? Zen and the Art of Gazebo Repair was like 1,000 times better than this at exploring Big Mac's actual character, and like there was some of that here. I can't deny that. There was just so much more going on.
I think you're dismissing it out of hand. I mean,
I'm not dismissing it.
This was okay, I know
It's more
it's
fluff.
debatable, and some people won't even see this aspect of it, but to me, this episode was about one specific aspect of Big Mac's character, which is that he can't express himself unless he's dressed up as Miss Orchard McMahon, and that's it.
But he did at the end in his old low voice.
It's true. Maybe
that's after his journey though.
Yeah, maybe it's like he learned something as Orchard Blossom and became more able to express himself.
Just to play
in the
devil's
end.
advocate, he sort of has a thing where at the end of episodes he'll do like a gush of words sometimes.
I don't know.
He's
I don't know
like
about
me.
that.
He has to wrap himself in kayfabe and become the
Yes.
kayfabe commander.
That's right.
I want there to be like multiple episodes about Big Mac being obsessed with characters. I want that to be his new thing.
I want him to become the first Ponyville YouTuber. Well, actually, the
That's
third
us, that's
because
us.
we're already the first two.
Yeah. Thank you for financing us, risky business. Well, that's it. That's all I gotta say. I thought it was thin, but there was some okay stuff there, and I was not laughing. Laughing this episode.
I didn't laugh. It wasn't funny. I thought that what they did with the characters, having the CMC like see through his disguise and having
good.
Big Mac get weirdly into character and all that stuff, I thought was interesting, and it gave me something to chew on. But it was unfocused, like I said, and the fact that there was like these two separate, like mutually incompatible reasons for him to be dressed up, it took the focus away from the characters where it should have been. And,
Agreed.
And so I don't know. Overall, I enjoyed it, but it was far from.
This
perfect.
is what happens when you put your social agenda into my fucking pony show.
I'd give it like a 7.
I thought it was pretty great. I don't know.
10 out of 10.
I don't know if it was pretty great, but I enjoyed it a pretty great amount.
Okay, fair.
I'd give it like a 5 or a 6, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
My conclusions that I would draw is I hate Big Mac, I hate cross-dressers, I hate transgenders, I hate transsexuals, I hate trans everybody sucks. Fuck you all.
Yeah, that's agreed. I think we can all agree on that.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Oh man,
first
soon.
I want to thank our
yes.
$2 and up patrons.
Please
they are
do.
Michael Anarelli, Noah Troutman, Crack, Jacob Bielski. Is he new?
I don't know.
Reverse Spectrum, Indigo Whisk, Little Tinker, Justin Adams, Angela Durand, Nicholas Schwab, and Paul Toussaint. Thanks a bunch.
We appreciate your gullibility.
Keg, shut up.
I'm
Don't
just
tell
kidding.
them.
Don't tell them. It must be a secret.
Patron me, you poofters. Forget these
guys.
guys.
We had a Big Mac episode. One of these days coming up, it's going to be Pinky's family in town. Holy shit. Am I stoked for that?
Wait,
yeah, really.
That's going to be a 10 out of 10.
I know.
Well,
I'm so excited.
They already had her sister come.
Yeah, but Maud's a dumb slut. I'm ready for new hot bitches.
It's definitely a law of the universe at this point that every Pinky episode is a 10 out of 10.
That's right. I could not be more hyped.
I don't know. I feel like they already did it. I feel like that's been done, and I don't want them to do it again.
No,
it's too late.
They only showed like the one Aspie sister. She's got like 3 Aspie sisters, probably Aspie parents too. And I can't wait to see how all these different kinds of Aspergers bounce off of each other.
I just want to tell you guys real quick. There was this
It'll
one
be just
time
like the
Jesse and
Horseshoe
I,
Crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time Jesse and I were arguing about whether or not Maud was actually autistic. So I literally, our dad has a psychology thing he does
Of course
sometimes.
she is.
And,
my video
so
was perfect on the subject.
Yeah, whatever. I actually did the research, pulled out the actual
God.
medical journal that diagnoses whether or not you have Asperger's or any number of psychological issues. And by the letter of the law, she does not.
She does too.
She does not.
No.
I looked it up.
I looked it up too when I wrote the fucking review.
You didn't look up shit,
I looked up everything. I know everything. I'm a fucking genius. I'm the Horseshoe fucking king, and I'll come back and I'll take you all to town.
Keg, if I remember correctly, wasn't it that she didn't? Wasn't it that she didn't fulfill them enough for like full autism, but like possibly for Asperger's? Wasn't that the issue? Wasn't it like she did, but not quite? That's
right. She fulfilled some of the criteria, but not enough.
Somebody messaged me this recently that at one of the conventions.
I will say, Jesse, your video pretty much totally convinced me of it, though.
Good, as it should have, because my
I
video
thought you
was
were right.
These days, I actually can
There
see.
was
anyway,
a writers panel at a convention this summer where someone asked, will you ever do an episode on autism? And one of the writers, I don't know who the fuck it was, Merriweather fucking Guybrush, they were like, we already did.
Hey,
and I
did
was
she
like,
write
yes!
that episode? Did she write that episode? I don't think so.
I didn't
They're
say.
probably talking about
I'm
what's
not
your
saying
favorite
it was
episode.
her specifically.
That episode.
I'm just saying it was one of the writers. I don't know who the fuck it was.
If one of the writers said we already did an episode about autism, it's pretty clear.
You know this shit is contract work. They don't talk to each other. They don't know each other. It's totally
but they've watched the show. They know what their own episodes
Everybody
are.
in the comments, who is correct, me or Nate? I know the right answer is me.
Me or me. It's just me.
It's
just
not him. This guy's not even right or cool. He's cool.
There's a trick question. It's me. I am actually the right guy.
Okay, that's it.
Why the
Go
fuck
cast
are we
your
talking
vote.
about this?
Cast your vote in the comments below. We're done. Thanks for watching TBBAP. See you next time.